didn't get a Miller Lite?
No, what's the difference?
Miller Lite has more taste.
I don't care, I just got one of these.
Well, that's the second unmanly thing you've done today.
What was the first?
Get me out this thing right now! Get me out this thing! Get me out this thing!
Yeah, I guess that was unmanly.
Man up. Choose a light beer with more taste. Grab a Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness.
Hey, look, I made T-shirts.
Awesome.
The Rock, 106.9 WCCC, live with Hurt at Upper on the Rocks in downtown Hartford today. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's hear it for the band Hurt. Welcome back to Hartford, guys.
Great to be here, man.
We appreciate this so much. You are one of my all-time favorite bands.
Well, you're one of my favorite audiences, actually.
Hartford's been good to you over the years, right?
It has. There's no complaints. You know, we saw this on the schedule, and we're like, yes. You know, we've got a lot of good friends here. A lot of friends at the station too, and WCCC. You know, you guys have helped us out through the years. You were one of the first people on the national scene to even, you know, give us a chance, and apparently it worked.
It all works out, right? So the show is happening right here in this room tonight. It's at Upper on the Rocks in downtown Hartford. Smile Empty Soul, of course, will be opening the show as well. But yeah, I mean, man, what was the year? Do you remember the first year you guys came through to do an acoustic thing and a performance and all that?
I believe it was '06. We were on tour, on the Jägermeister tour. We were, you know, graciously welcomed by Stained and treated quite well by them, especially for a band that was nearly unheard of. I mean, we had only been up and down the East Coast a little bit, and of course trying as baby bands do, or, you know, at least non-national acts do. And we were having a good tour, and in between every single date, I would play another show because it just wasn't enough like, we haven't really taken days off. It's just too important. So I do remember it was '06, the first time that we did Upper on the Rocks, and it was just a fantastic time.
That has gone by very quickly. Well, for us, has it gone by quickly for you?
I just talked to a gentleman that said, hey, man, you know, good to see you. You were the first show I went to. I was 10 years old at the time, and I'm like, oh, oh, wow. So thanks. Yeah.
That hurts. Get it?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what a disc jockey does. I'm so embarrassed by disc jockeys, and I'm one of them, you know? All right, so tell me about The Crux, the new album, right? Tell me about the album, and is it, compare it to the other albums, and the progression of the band over the years?
We kind of we're a very poignant set of individuals in that, you know, we try to pick a direction and go with it. This album was, strangely enough, looking for something that was accessible yet deep, and that's a difficult thing, and something that was joyful yet sorrowful. You know, basically the tragedy and the comedy all together. So we were shooting for the exact middle ground without having anything being mundane, and that's just the hardest thing to achieve, apparently. So that's what we did, and I think that we did it quite well. I mean, everybody really brought their A game. It took us 3 years, and we're proud of every second of that whole album. I mean, how do you guys feel?
Absolutely. Well, that's 3 years I'll never get back, so I hope you guys enjoyed it.
So you might as well be happy about it, right? You might as well be proud of it.
Yeah, I can't say we enjoyed the making of it, but, you know, we did it, and we're proud of it.
I've often heard, and you mentioned Stained before, and they're an example of this with their latest album, that some of the albums that were the most difficult to make for whatever reason, whether it was relationships within the band or things going on in their personal lives or whatever, some of those most difficult albums that take the longest end up being some of the best creativity they've ever done. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. That's been my case. This has actually been the only album that I have been happy with in my entire career.
Really?
Yes. Everything else, I just hear the shortcomings. I hear, you know, when we didn't have a chance to do this better or try it out, and that just wasn't the case there. Now, I don't think that excuses 3 years of working on something. That's not ideal, but at the same time, we have a certain quality standard because our fans are quality people. They expect quality music, and we just don't turn out, you know, the first thing that bilges out of the system. So, you know, I think that we did the right thing in that respect. Whether or not we can withstand doing that again, I doubt. But
who knows, right?
Yeah, right. Who knows?
Well, tell me about where that perfection comes from, which can be a blessing and a curse all at the same time. Because
OCD.
No, actually, I think it's the opposite. Whatever that attention to detail disorder would be, and it's not the analysis paralysis paradigm where everybody's just sitting there thinking about stuff too much. I mean, we know what we're going for, and it's very hard to achieve because let's just make an album that the world's never seen before. And that's not an easy thing to do because there are a lot of other musical artists that are very creative, very fantastic musicians. So, there you go. It's not a competition. It's just let's do something that's above and beyond what we have heard, what we have known. And that's just not an easy mark.
I'm curious about how you got started in music. I understand that as a kid, you started playing instruments at an early age, right?
I did.
And what was your first instrument that you started?
It was violin.
Was that by choice, or was that...
Yes, I very much knew from the first thing that I wanted to do that I wanted to be the greatest violinist who ever lived. I'm absolutely nowhere close. The closest I ever got, I would say, was modestly, for about 5 minutes, the best in my tri-state area. But still, that's a notable achievement. And that took 12 hours a day of practice every single day. Whether or not I worked, I'd stay up to play more. And really, everybody in this band has done the same kind of thing. I mean, the attention to detail, the focus, and the work ethic is nearly unparalleled by any other musicians that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just honored to be playing with guys that are like-minded. That's how we put up with each other. It's because we understand, because we've done it. It's not, just one person demanding something. In fact, Michael will demand that I do better vocal takes sometimes, and vice versa. It's a good thing.
Now, back when you were a kid and you were playing the violin and stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was rock and roll was like banned.
Oh God, yeah.
It was you were not allowed to listen to.
Well,
correct?
it was either classical or gospel, and man, I freaking hate gospel. God, I hate it.
Did that drive you to want to listen to rock? Did that drive you in this direction?
Because the things that I had heard were basically just over department store speakers, and it was apparently bubblegum pop rock, and I still don't like it. So
right.
If I'm faced with music or that, or no music or that, I'm going to take no music. Mm-hmm. So it eventually worked out where I heard something of substance, something with feeling, and then I decided, then I can do that with my life instead of working my hardest to play things that have been done by dead people 200 years ago.
Oh, right.
So maybe give a little bit of enrichment for everybody's lives. It
right.
was kind of the mantra, and I actually learned something from. He wasn't really my uncle, but one of these guys that you call uncle. And he'd sit around, drink some beer, and play 3-chord songs, and everybody was happy. Everybody, and I just kind of got into it. And I said, wow, for all that I work on things, you're so much more effective at what I actually want to do, which is to just enrich people's lives. And he wasn't even trying, and he really took no effort in it. And I was like, well, maybe I can do both. Maybe I can take effort in doing something that's substantial and something that enriches people's lives. And I think that, well, we're here today, so obviously somebody else feels the same way.
Seems to have worked. Guys. Yeah. Well, and I don't usually ask this question at all because it's kind of a lame question, but in this set of circumstances, I'm curious about it because I find your music to be very almost complicated, and you do things that most others don't. So I'm curious, who were some of the first artists that you found that really grabbed your attention and was had some substance to them?
For me, it was Pearl Jam. That was the first thing that I heard, and I didn't even know people had made things like that. And still, to this day, I've never met Pearl Jam, and I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've met so many bands, and most often they're great experiences. I'm not even sure what I would say to him. Whether I would hug him, kiss him, or slap him for making me do this. So
it's their fault, right?
Yeah. Well, he definitely gave me the idea. I don't think my band sounds very much like Pearl Jam, but I think that was a major influence. And then I went into, I'm still discovering bands. For instance, it was probably about 4 years ago the first time I heard Pink Floyd or other greats, and the jury's out whether or not I like it. I don't know, but you know it when you like it. So there you go.
You heard Pink Floyd for the first time just 4 years ago?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, it just is.
All right.
But I did like it.
All right, let's hear some of these songs. You know, the sound check. It was just amazing, and that was just the sound check. And you know, like we said before, you guys have come through several times and done this, and I'm always blown away. So I'm very much looking forward to this. So,
well, great. Now the bar is at here.
get ready.
We put it a comfortable here. Like middle.
Right.
Just do what you do.
Again,
and
we're
it'll all
shooting for
be good.
mediocre. That way, you're always surprised in a good way.
Aim
It's all going to be
straight.
good. All right, this is WCCC Live with Hurt.